My name is Fiona Stanley and I'm part of the ANDI project. ANDI stands for the Australian National Development Index, a program which is aimed at measuring an equitable and sustainable future for our country. What kind of future do you want? Why do we need an ANDI? Well, at the moment, most countries measure their progress of how their societies are progressing using GDP, Gross Domestic Product. And there are real deficiencies in terms of what GDP actually measures. First of all, it's actually not a good measure of economic development. And secondly, it doesn't measure any of the things that as a society makes us sustainable, equitable, a place that we would like to live in. In fact, after the Victorian bushfires, our GDP in Australia went up by $4 billion. So catastrophes will raise the GDP. Selling products which harm people will raise GDP. We want to look at alternative measures in our society, things that you would value, that you would say would be an Australia that you wanted to live in the future. We are most likely to achieve the kind of Australia we want and at the same time overcome the challenges we face if we have a broadly shared vision of the kind of Australia we want, if we know what we want and where we are going, if we set clear and concrete goals, and if we measure our progress regularly towards them. We can't measure our progress and we can't describe it unless we know what we are progressing towards. So this is where ANDI comes in. We're coming in, if you like, to change the way that democracy might really work for our country. We believe that in developing new measures of progress in Australia, that we need to involve as many people across the country as possible, from all walks of life and from people who often don't get included in surveys. And this is where you come in to help us with this project. We're at the pilot stage. We've set up a relationship with the University of Melbourne, and a band of us are working to look at two domains that might be part of the whole of the domain of what the whole index might look at. Those two domains are health and education. So there are things about what makes you feel healthy that we want to try and be able to measure and put them into these domains to measure the health and well-being of our nation. And we want to be able to do it over time, and we want to be able to do it in a way that then feeds into the kinds of policies and practices that will actually make a difference to our lives and the lives of our children and grandchildren. So what are the things that you really think about in terms of being healthy or in terms of having a good education? We would like to know what you think about that. This project is a partnership between Australian universities led by the University of Melbourne and a large number of community organisations including welfare, trade union, business, multicultural, environmental, Indigenous, local government and philanthropic bodies. It is not a government project, although some government agencies will be helping us, such as the Australian Bureau of Statistics. Thank you for participating in this important national project. I want to reassure you that we will treat your answers with respect and they are valued highly. Please take the time to familiarise yourself with the questions and issues in the written material sent to you. If you have any questions at all, the contact details are on your screen.